What is going on, guys? Got another video today. We got 4-8 fun mix going. Right now we're in stud 8. I think I got Moxie a little tilted from a big O hand that I played against him. CT here opens in 8, and there were some bricks over here before the recording started, so we decided to 2-bet the 996. Catch an ace, Moxie 3-bet and caught 5-6, and CT caught ace 8. If CT 2-bets us here, I think we actually have to fold our hand. But since he doesn't, we're going to call. We make open 9s against 2 bricks. This is an easy bet. We open pair. Moxie 2-bets. So he's representing a pretty strong draw in this situation. And I don't think there's any question that we're actually pushing equity. There's a couple dead aces too. So, I mean, this just seems like an easy 3-bet. When he catches the deuce, 3-4 is a very... likely outcome, so I decided to check to him. And what did he have? That seems he had 7-7 in the hole, or 7 deuce. I'm not even quite sure. My hand was kind of face up there. I mean, like I obviously had like a buried big pair in that situation, or split 9. So here against CT we open aces, split aces with a 5, suited kicker, really strong hand stud. CT misses twice and we win. Just bet through. It trips, man. I'm not even gonna entertain that one. 3F9. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in as always. If you like what you see, subscribe, like. Any comments, questions, put them below. My email's down there if you want to contact me as well. If you have any questions, and get back to me. If you guys are looking to open a Phenom account, there is a link below. Please click on that. It helps me out and keeps me motivated to keep making videos. Hopefully here in the near future, I have awesome surprise for everyone who's watching. We will see how it pans out, but definitely have interest. So they should call it stud 9. So sorry, I was kind of in the middle of that hand, but we'll play another round of stud 8 here in a little bit. But deuce to 7 right now. Let's start going back to it. So obviously best hand 7 5 4 3 2. Aces are high, straights and flushes count against you. We'll just start with that. You definitely want to start with the deuce in your hand if you can. There's definitely times when you don't necessarily need a deuce, but having a deuce in your hand is super strong. Obviously, 2 4 6 7 here on the button is an extremely strong hand. We would have raised, re-raised pretty much against anyone. Caught off here with 3 6 7. I think it's a little light without the deuce. It's also somewhat of a rougher draw to the 7. We wouldn't open here drawing to the 9 right away. If I had 3 6 7 8, I would probably open here in the cutoff. I think that's fine. But I think drawing to the 9 right away would be pretty rough, and then drawing to the 6 7 3 without any significant blocker. 8 6 3 is we kind of move away from the button here. We need stronger draws, obviously, like under the gun here. Pretty much need like a 3-card wheel draw with a deuce in your hand to open, I would say. Christmas time's coming around the corner. I hope you guys are all having a happy holidays wherever you are in the world. If some of you guys are playing in Vegas right now at the Wynn, hope you guys are having fun. I miss it. I got a couple friends winning tournaments over there, so if they're checking this out, then congrats to all of them. I definitely miss the live play. So Moxie's taking 0 here on Zoink's taking 2, Moxie's taking 0. And just remember, like usually in most of the draw games, if you have the draw lead, usually you're doing the betting. If you're out of position, you have the draw lead, you're usually betting into your opponent. And if you're in position, your opponent's usually checking to you. You will definitely see in throughout my videos, there are instances where people are not necessarily doing that, but I think it's pretty established at this point. I'll have to ask around just in case anything's changed. But for the most part, like when two players here go like 3-3, there's a lot of different things that can happen. Like one improved, one didn't, you know. And improving to a 2-card draw in the situation doesn't necessarily mean you bet. I think this is fine. I actually really appreciate, I think his name's Zip Code, or he plays really fast. I like that. He makes number 6, 86342, 86432, excuse me. That hand is usually going to win a lot of the money. So here in the big blind we have 863. It kind of really depends like what the action's like, whether we play this hand or not. Against two players, we're definitely going to call and draw 2. I'm not like super happy, and I'm not going to play this hand, I think, like super hard, because I just don't necessarily think my range is like stronger than theirs, and can have a lot of different things. So I actually improved a 1-card draw here, and I don't think in a 2-2-2 spot I'm supposed to bet like all my 1-card draws out of position, but I'm going to go ahead and check this one, and it does go actually 1-1-1. So just my positional disadvantage here, I think justifies me occasionally checking here when I don't improve. I still am going to draw when Moxie bets. I don't necessarily love it, but I think 8-6 is still too strong of a draw to fold. And then obviously when Mr. Shadow calls, I just fold. I was drawing down in that situation, but I still think 8-6 is still too good of a draw there, especially when Mr. Shadow doesn't raise. It usually means he's not pat. So we did just change the game to ace to 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is the best hand, just like deuce to 7, where the deuce is the best card, ace is the best card in this game. Straights and flushes in this game do not count against you, so you can have a straight or flush in your hand. But in deuce, if you have 7, 5, 4, 3, 2 all of clubs, that's a flush. In ace to 5, if you have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 all clubs, you have the best hand possible. You still have a wheel. But hopefully, if I get the big announcement made here in the future, I will make a short video announcing what's going to be going on. I think we'll get through one round today. So again, fun mix. Should have led that off, but I was playing stud 8. So we got the ace 5 triple draw, deuce to 7 Raz, limit Omaha 8 or better, Badusi, Badoogie, stud 8 or better, and deuce to 7 triple draw. I said this in one of my last videos, but besides, I think ace to 5, and you still see it in mixed games, like deuce to 7 Raz. Now deuce to 7 Raz, you see a lot of these games, actually, pretty much all of them nowadays. You kind of see deuce to 7 Raz is kind of hit or miss depending on where you're playing. But most of these games are all in mixed games that you would find in live casinos, I think, for the most part. I hope in the future they actually let us on Phenom make our own kind of mixed games, because it seems like, and you do find this in a lot of their mixed games, you see Big O capped, no limit capped, single draw capped, PLO capped, PLO 5 capped, etc. But a lot of the games nowadays have kind of a mixture, I would say, of big bet cap and limit games. So here in a 1-1 spot, Mr. Shadow bets a 7 and gets check called by Zoinks with a 10. That seems pretty much how it goes. Ace 3, 5 under gun, 3 to wheel with an ace. Definitely an open. Zip code calls, he takes 3. We improve to a 1-card wheel draw. I'm going to go ahead and bet. I don't think I bet on improved here, to be honest. Maybe I could sometimes. Make 8-5. Plan is pretty much to pat this hand, depending on, like, I mean, even if I get check raise, I actually think I'm probably patting this hand, to be honest. Against a 2-card draw, it's probably just a little bit too good in my opponent. If he's check raising like all 8s, I think it's a massive mistake to fold 8-5 there. So we're probably just check calling and then evaluating on river. Because if he bets the river, then his range has narrowed down significantly. But in the padding portion of the game, I think breaking there would probably be a mistake. Deuce 7 Ras here. Everyone folds. We open the 3-5. Moxie defends, so he's most likely got something in the hole here that's good. He might have paired the 4. I have 2 3s, so it makes some sense. Jack 8 3 5 7. We're gonna go ahead and bet. And then on the river, I think we're just gonna go ahead and check. I think he does have a 10 in this situation when he calls down. Yeah, he does have a 10. But I was not calling him just because when he didn't call me on, or when he called me on 5th Street, my most likely hand there I think was a 10. And if I check to him on, actually I don't know. Actually, Moxie might have given me the free card there on 6th Street, just because if he does call me in 5th Street there and I brick 6, I should have some check raises there if I have a better hand than his 10. So we can go. I think we can go back. Let's see if I can play this one out. 8 3 7. I'll show you guys in 1 second here. The 8 up with Moxie with a 6, Mr. Shadow with a 10. We're going to open the 8. Again, deuce to 7 Ras. Haven't explained this yet, but 7 5 4 3 2 is the best hand. And again, the strength of your hand is really dependent on your board. It's obviously like you have the best drawing hand is deuce 3 7 or like 2 3 4 something like that, but it's all relative. Like if I have a 3 here and everyone's got a king, like I could have like 10 Jack at the hole and still have the best hand. Mr. Shadow defends here with 6 4. He didn't 2-bet me, but I'm gonna go ahead and check. Like I think this is kind of like a tight range on range spot. I think it's kind of close. He makes 9 6 4. I make 9 7 3. I'm gonna go ahead and bet now that I improved and he didn't. So my guess is he probably paired 4s. I don't think you have to bet when check to 100% of the time. I definitely think you should balance some of it out. So going back to that other hand against Moxie. So Moxie called me here on 4th Street, and when I hit a Jack and he hits a Jack, I don't expect him to ever fold. The only question is if I check here, is he getting me the free card? And I actually think he might. Plus I should have some check raises here if I do have an 8. So I actually think I probably should check 6th Street. 6 with an ace queen in the hole, we fold. Same rules apply to deuce to 7 Ras, like flushes and straights count against you. Aces only play high, they don't play low. Limit Omaha 8 or better. So this is a split pot game. 2 3 queen here in the small blind. We're gonna fold. So in the 8 or better versions, or realistically any version, when you have a when you have a game when ace plays both high and low, it's your joker, and 10 3 8 Jack double suited here on the buttons of fold, just too raggedy. So in this game for sure you definitely want aces if you can find them. 2 3 5 8 double suited, super strong hand. We open and they fold. But there's always going to be, so this is a split pot game. High, there's always going to be an Omaha high hand. If there's no low, the high hand scoops. If there is a low, you need to qualify for it. That qualifier is 3 cards on the board, 8 or under, unpaired, and you need 2 in your hand that do not pair that board. So the nut low draw right here on the 7-6 board would be ace deuce. There's still no low right now. Now if, like, say the ace comes, the nut low is deuce 3 in your hand. So the nut low would be 7-6, deuce 3 in your hand, and the other ace on the board. It looks like a lot of people had some low draws. Three 3 4 4 double suited. This is probably surprisingly like a sneaky little strong hand in this game. So Mr. Shadow opens. Swing's actually posted, so there's a fair bit of dead money in there. Actually, if he calls, I think we 3-bet our hand. It's kind of sneaky strong. Can make some sets and flushes and wheels and other stuff. I actually think we're going to go ahead and jam this hand. Just because Zoink's hand can be pretty wide here. There's dead money. Do flop a set. And on a 3 flush board, I think we're just going to go ahead and check. This is actually... I'm going to go ahead and check. I actually think about leading here just from the fact that just from the fact that I have 2 3s in my hand too, so I can also like represent like nut flush draw. I'm sorry, nut low draw. I'm just gonna go ahead and call. Go ahead and check again. No blocking, no diamonds. Like obviously I'm betting a set on that board. I think into 3 other people is slightly suicidal. And also since I have 2 3s, it's less likely my opponent's betting nut low draw without the flush. It's possible. On the river we unfortunately do not pair the board, so I think we just gotta check give up this hand. The only question here is I mean, the only real question here is can my opponent have like a flush without a low? And we're getting a relatively good price. We're getting like over 10 to 1, so I think I'm just going to actually pay this one off and just pray that we find a way to get some sort of it, but I don't really expect to. We do get a quarter, so that's actually good. He had the king, jack, deuce, 3, so he actually has a live 3. I have a live 3, but his high hand's a flush. Ace 3, 8, 8 here in the small blind against the cutoff open. I'm going to go ahead and 3-bet. Usually if you find kind of these middle to high pairs with like wheel cards, you usually do a fair bit of 3-betting. This board, the 2 highs and a middle card, not great for my hand. I don't have the flush draw. I think I'm going to go ahead and fold my hand. If I had ace deuce, it'd be a little bit closer. But even if I hit an 8 on the turn, I do have the 8 of clubs in my hand, but even if I hit an 8 on the turn, there's several straights out there that the 8 makes. Not that my opponent should have those straights very often. If I hit an 8, 6, 9 makes a straight, jack 9 makes a straight, but I mean 6, 9 and jack 9 are not really very prevalent hands in my opponent's range. Alright, Badusi, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, all different suits. Starting here with deuce 3. My hand basically is a 3-card draw, so if someone opens in front of me, I'm going to fold, and if they fold to me, I'm going to go ahead and raise. And we're going to muck. Mr. Shadow takes 2. Zip takes 2. In this game, there's no qualifier for the split pot game, so there's always going to be 2 hands. The first one's deuce to 7. The second one is the Badugi. Best Badugi in this hand is 5, 4, 3, 2, all different suits. The best low hand is still deuce to 7, so 7, 5, 4, 3, 2. For the ace to 5, or for the deuce to 7, flushes still count against you, etc. Here we open the 2, 5, 6, 3 card with an extra 6. Mr. Shadow 3-bets. Don't know if he's tilted or if he actually has a strong hand. Looks like he's got a strong hand, so we're going to call. Catch a third 6. Not that it matters too much, realistically. We're going to draw again. Now it's really tricky. I think we call and we draw at the 7. I don't think we keep the jack Badugi because we actually lose. I think we turn our hand one way if we keep it. And when he bets into us on the river, I don't really like it. Obviously, my low hand is never good here. The only question is does he have rough enough? Does he have all 8 lows, and how's my 8 low doing against him? And I think we actually just fold the 3-card 6. If I had probably had a 3-card 5 or 3-card, I actually have kind of a middling 3-card 6 too, anyways. But keeping the jack Badugi in that situation turns your hand. It turns your hand into a one-way hand. You can't scoop in that situation, because I don't expect Mr. Shadow to ever have a jack-jack, basically a jack low. So my hand is basically a one-way hand, and by drawing at the 2-3, drawing at the 3-card 6 with the 4-card 7, it gives me opportunities to still scoop. I mean, I could make a 7 and scoop. I could make a Badugi with some combo of even 9s and something and scoop. But in split pot games, you really don't want to turn your hand into a one-way unless you have a super, super strong one side of it. I guess it went 1-1 on that river, and zip bet an 8 Badugi with a pair, and Mr. Shadow made a huge hand. He made a 7-7. So it looks like No, we have a 3 card here. We have a 3 card draw, that is. It's kind of in between whether we keep the 7 or not. I usually don't, especially out of position. I usually just draw at the... Usually just take 3 out of position here. I can always catch the 7 back too. And we don't, and he takes 2. So we're going to check. So we've got a 7 and a deuce. Relatively good price. I think it's like kind of close. I don't know if my opponent's betting every single time here. He takes 1 and we have no improvement, so this is just a check fold. He should bet here every single time, I think. So we give that one up. More hand of this, 2, 3, 4. Obviously the best 3 card starting hand in this game we can have, because if you don't have a Badugi, again, it goes back to the 3 card, and the best 3 card in this game is 4, 3, 2. So when you're playing Badugi, you want to build from the bottom up, and that's a good one to do it with. Badugi here, best hand is 4, 3, 2, 1. So in this version of Badugi, the aces play low. They play low only. So 4, 3, 2, 1 unpaired is the best Badugi. All different suits. And just like most, or if not all, the draw games, I can't think of one off the top of my head, but we always count down from your highest card down. So like say if this was a rainbow hand, so this was a heart, club, spade, diamond, this would be a 10, 6, 4 ace Badugi. Here we can see both players have jacks, but CT has jack 9 and Mr. Shadow had jack 8. Jack 8 obviously beats jack 9, it's lower. Here in the cutoff with 3, 6, this is a fold. I'm not usually taking 2 from the cutoff unless I have blockers. Now, I do have 4 different suits here, but I have a pair in my hand, so I don't have a Badugi. I only have a 3 card queen, so this is a fold. We're our Delta King Badugi here, and usually we are dealt the strongest. When you're Delta Badugi, usually you're dealt the best hand to start with. Now, realizing and getting to the river with your king is sometimes pretty hard. So realizing your equity with a king in this situation, this just becomes an easy fold here with a king, because they're representing a strong draw or a better Badugi. And even if I decide to 4-bet, it's just like an absolute prayer that this hand holds up multi-way. So yeah, when Zoinks takes 2 on the first draw and raises a pat hand, usually he's representing that he's pat as well. Oh, wow. It worked. Oh, he did something very, very, very fancy that you don't really see too often, but we'll tried the shake and bake. B-A-D-U-G-I. We'll take a note of that. So what the shake and bake is in Badugi, and this is a really advanced concept, so I'm not like it's something that is not really tried too often, but you occasionally see it. It's where your opponent raises and pats with a very strong 1-card draw, trying to get you to break your hand, and if they break the hand, it's basically like flipping the equities significantly. And there we see an 8-7 beat an 8-4. So what happens is like, if you have the best 3 card, say you have ace deuce 3 versus like a 3 card 7 or something like that, um, your equity is can't think of it off the top of my head. My guess is somewhere around like 80%. So it's like kind of like having aces versus a lower pair. It might not be that high. It might be somewhere in the 70s, but it's pretty significant. And if in that situation, if you flip it and say like Zip has like a queen 9, queen 8 maybe Badoogie, and he breaks the Badoogie and zoinks. He breaks the Badoogie and Zoinks now breaks with a better 3 card. Zoinks like takes over the equity lead pretty significantly. So that's like when you see the shake and bake. It's very, very rare. I don't recommend it too often because again, it's one of those situations where like the parlay has to work because Zip decided to pat after the first draw. Zip was pat, then he got raised. I think then he patted again, and then on the third draw he decided to break, and the king 9-4 here against the bring-in. Study it or better. You're most likely to get resistance from the bring-in in the stud 8 than pretty much any other game. Queen 8-7 here, basically being like the lowest card. I'm going to go ahead and attempt to steal this hand with the 3 hearts. I do have an extra low card in my hand. Obviously, I don't love its queen, but it's an overcard to the board as well. So if anyone's got a pair, like I can still hit a queen and make a high pair. Now make a 4 flush. I think I obviously like this card benefits me because I do have 4 flushes in my range, and now he realistically can't. I'm gonna go ahead and bet, and then on the river I'm just gonna go ahead and bet again. He raises me, so he's most likely representing a low. Yeah, it's totally fine. Looks like he did pair the 4. And then river me a low. Even though this is going to play out really quick, stud 8 or better, obviously. There's a qualifier for low. 5 cards, 8 or under. Zip against me, that hand had an 8 low. And there's always a stud high will win half, if not all the pot. 2-3-7 here, kind of a Rajas hand against a 5, 8, and a 6. We're just going to go ahead and call this one. Kind of an interesting 4 street here. Zip catches a suited queen. Moxie catch 8-5. Mr. Shadow catches 8-5, and I have 8-7, 3 deuce. I think we're just going to go ahead and check call this one. If you're playing against a really strong stud 8 or better opponent, and I don't bet my 8 deuce in this situation, I think they can kind of read that I might have something like a 7 or something like that in the hole, because if I had the strongest 8 draw there, I should be betting 2, 3, 7, 8 against an 8, 4, 5, 2 8s, and what looks like to be a possible 6 draw. I'm just going to fold my hand. I could be drawing extremely slim in that situation. Zip is representing he made a 7 low. Mr. Shadow obviously has 8s and 5s on his board. And Moxie decides to raise. Oh, he made the 8s. He made the 6 low and was trying to get it heads up. I think Moxie's play is obviously really good because if Zip doesn't have the ace in his hand, Moxie scoops him with a better low if he doesn't have a pair. So that's good. 2, 4, 5, 8. Playing deuce again. Open in the cutoff. Moxie calls. All right, if Moxie's pat, he's pat, but I think Moxie tends to like raise this position a lot with a 1 card draw, and I think that's like, I think it's very incorrect for what it's worth. And I'm going to go ahead and attempt to check raise river with number 5. It doesn't work. He wasn't going to call anyways with a pair of 6s, so I'm gonna go back to that hand really quick, because usually in that situation, if you think your opponent's super wide and you get value by raising your hand. Let's see if I can get to the river here. For some reason, the replayer in the draw games is not working correctly, and I don't know why. One of those things that they have to fix. If Moxie doesn't have a 7 draw in this situation, he must have 2, 3. I think he had 2, 3, 6, 8. Like, he's not pushing that much equity. He's definitely pushing equity, I would say, against my one card drawing range, but that's if I still am drawing. And raising in that situation, like he can easily get 3-bet. Deuce to 7 here we fold. So usually in that situation, like if you improve to one card draw, you just usually call. And at the same time too, because you are, we actually dealt a pat 8-6 here, which is strong on its own. You don't want to turn your hand, you don't want to turn your draw face up. You definitely want to be able to make some wheels, and you definitely want to, like, you know, when you have rougher draws, you have some rougher draws, but, you know, sometimes when it looks like you have a rough draw, you also want to be able to make some wheels and get some extra bets from your opponent. And I'm pretty much just going to bet this hand down. Like 8-6 is just a little bit too strong not to. We get a fold. That's nice too. I'm trying to see where we're going to wrap this up. Just wanted to make sure I got at least 30 minutes in. Looks like we're kind of there. Maybe play a little bit more. 2-5 here in the cutoff. We're just going to fold. And then the next hand is ace to 5. Goes 1-1 with one draw remaining. And Moxie checks back 6s and Mr. Shadow checks back a queen. The hand kind of looks like a standard for the most part. 2-4. Oh, we're ace to 5. I almost didn't catch myself there. Ace to 5 now. Definitely needs to be changed in the rotation. I think they're coming out with a an update here in the next day or two, so we will see if that one gets changed. Definitely got to call the good with the bad. So far it seems like there's more good than bad. We get 3-bet here. We're going to defend the ace-6 in the big blind against CT, but against the 3-bet we're going to fold. 2-2. Oh, interesting. CT goes for the bluff raise there with the ace deuce 3-4 ace. Definitely have to find your bluffs. You just can't do it in that spot, I think, too often, because when you go from your opponent going from, you know, pat and you're drawing 2, I mean, they shouldn't be folding too much. And if they're betting value against you, they really shouldn't be folding much realistically at all. So if you're raising a lot, you're just going to get called way too much. 2-4-5 here on the button 3-card wheel. Going to go ahead and open. Again, best hand on ace to 5 is 5-4-3-2-1. Aces are kind of the gem card, but still, this is still enough strong draw. Here we have 4s and 5s. I'm gonna go ahead and check this. I have some incentive, I think, occasionally to bet this, but now I can kind of just, like, if I want to pat my hand, I can also just pat my hand. Against an in position here, when he bets, I'm gonna call, and I was gonna draw 1 at the 9, but when he pats, I'm gonna take 2, unfortunately, and then 7s, I'm gonna fold. If I was gonna bluff here, I would bluff something like 2 pair again, but pair of 7s on their own, not good enough. Bluffing way too often if I bluff the 7s there, so. Uh, 3-4-5-8 here in the hijack. I think this is just a fold. I think the 3-4-5 is a little bit too rough without a deuce or an ace. Definitely want an ace in your hand, an ace to 5. Deuce is strong too. The makeups are just slightly different than deuce to 7, because an ace to 5, the straight draws don't count against you, but I think 3-4-5 is just a little bit too rough. We're going to fold here with the 9 deuce. If we had 7 deuce in our hand, we would continue. But when 2 players are in there, our equity is quite bad. 10 ace deuce, so deuce is 7 rounds again, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2. Just straight low. Aces are high. That's the third ace I've seen get a walk today, which is crazy. It's a total license to steal. This is a situation where like I could put a lot of pressure on Moxie. I think Moxie's gonna like actually overfold this spot too much, so I'm gonna go ahead and open the 5. I'm probably opening any 2 if that's the case. But I think Moxie might be playing in another game or so, so I'm just gonna go ahead and open. 2, 3, 8 here. This is strong. 4, 5, and 9 are dead, so we will make note of that. But we get it through anyways. CT says F-U-C-K. He must have realized that he just he folded to the ace, and then obviously we would open the 3 into Moxie's jack, but Zip opens the 8. We're just gonna fold the ace queen. Pretty bad. All right, last hand to deuce 7 rounds. 2 kings in the hole here. I'm gonna fold the 2 kings. 2 kings is pretty rough. Much rather have the random jack draw than 2 kings. Okay, now we're at Omaha 8 or better. I think we'll play a couple more hands and then call it. Queen Jack 8-9 is not a good hand, but against a raise and a call, closing the action here, we're going to defend. We catch the all-purpose 10 of diamonds, but unfortunately there's 2 baby spades up there, so we're going to go ahead and check. And we're going to go ahead and fold. You definitely have enough equity in the big blind to call with this hand. Realizing it is, you know, it's kind of like one of those things where you're probably like collecting some microchips. Ace 10 5 deuce in the small blind here, I think should definitely be a 3-bet. Like, even though it's a rainbow hand, it's just very strong. The makeup of the hand is very strong. Ace 10 jack 7. We're gonna play this hand, but I think we're gonna go ahead and I think we're gonna 3-bet this hand. Kind of close what I want to do with this one. 2 kings and 2 spades. Like, we have no low cards. I'm just gonna go ahead and check this one. And I think we're just gonna check fold this one. No pair, no like really good draw, no nothing. I mean, theoretically we could call and hit like a jack or 10 or even an ace, but I think that's like very wishful thinking. We were definitely up against a nut flush draw. And Moxie had some backdoor stuff. I think they both played their hand fine. 10-8, 9-4 here on the button is just to pitch it. King Queen 8-3 Badoogie, wrong game, but I don't even know if I would open this Badoogie, to be honest. King Queen is just such a rough hand. Ace King 3-6 in Omaha, though we will definitely open. Ace Broadway wheel card, strong enough. We can actually do some funky things here, I think, on this board. Occasionally check it. I'm going to go ahead and check it and go for a raise on turn. This King 9-6 board, like, I think favors. I think it actually favors the big blind. So occasionally, like, if we decide to trap with that hand, I think it's good. And it actually works out because he decided to bet a 6 and an open ender. And we got a safe turn. We decided to raise. So I think, like, occasionally being trapping on that board is good. 2-3 King 10 here. I'm gonna go ahead and check. CT checks back flop. I'm gonna go ahead and bet turn, and if I get raised, probably fold. I think I'm gonna go ahead and actually bet one more time. Oh, I get scooped. He checked back ace ace 3 on that board. I mean, I think he probably should just go ahead and bet, to be honest. I'm not trying to justify it, but 2-3-7 here in Badoosie, so now we're played like a full rotation. We're not keeping the 10 Badoogie, not yet. It's not strong enough. So we I'm not keeping the Badoogie. The only question is, do I keep the 8? And I think no. 2, 3, 4. We don't. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we have 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, 7, 9. We make the 9. some reason I just couldn't read my hand fast enough, and we're gonna. Oh, I thought we scooped him in at 8. Yeah, so we had the best hand with 2, 3, 4. I did bet the 2, 3, 7, which I think is like somewhat light there, but I did it anyways. Moxie 3 bets me. I open here with 2, 5. Have an extra 3 in my hand. 2, 3, 5, 7. This is a situation where I would actually trap with some Badugi, so I think like calling here fine, drawing 1. He draws 2, which is like kind of crazy to me that he just kind of bets on improve, but I did the same thing last hand. But this is like, obviously now we make a 7 Badugi, we make 7, 5, 3, 2. So this is an easy bet. And we make an 8 low with 7 Badugi. Our hand is extremely strong. I expect to scoop here pretty often, like a high percentage of the time, honestly. And we get that one through. 2, 4, 7 with the 2 card. We're gonna fold. I think we'll play the rest of the Badusi round. We'll play most of the Badugi round and then call it. To just close it out, if you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them below. If you have any thing you guys want to email me, inquiry about lessons, coaching, feel free to send that to me. I have my email down below. It's learnmixedgames@gmail.com. I'm also on X. And if you guys are looking to open a Phenom account, there's a link below. So go through there. That helps me out and keeps me motivated to keep making the videos for you guys. I get a walk there with the 2, 3. We would have defended. And like I said, hopefully here I have some good news here in the future. We'll just keep it at that right now. Looks like we have the 2, 3, 7, but we do not have the 2, 3, 7 here. We're going to fold. 2 and the 7 are both suited. Especially against the 3 bet. Sit out next big blind. Badugi here again, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pairs are bad, ace plays low. I have a 2 card draw here in the cutoff, but I tend to fold my 2 cards. I'm not sure if it's got to be relatively close, but I'm not sure. Again, it looks like I have ace 6, 7 here in the hijack, but the ace and the 7 are suited, so I only have a 2 card 6 draw. That is a fold. Definitely want to have a 3 card from hijack or the cutoff in a 6-handed game. That I do know. And then the last hand, which kind of boring round, I guess, is the 1 card ace draw, and that's that. So again, if you guys like what you see, let me know. And until then, good luck at the tables. Play well. I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.